got Sergei Pavlovich versus Tai Tuivasa. How do you see this one going down?
I think this one I did also opposite than you. Like we said, we already did like breakdown again Sergei Pavlovich and I think even Tai Tuivasa. Yeah, so we
Yep.
did both in our show, and uh, first time like when we were talking about Sergey, I think he was fighting Derek Lewis, and maybe
Yep.
he was also fighting Derek Lewis or was against Gan. I'm not sure now, but never mind. We didn't have so much information about this guy, Like now, like after second time, like watching, rewinding, like, I created a little bit better, maybe like portfolio, like or call it however you want, how I say it, you know.
Mhm.
Uh, like we saw against Sergey Pavlovich after he lost in his first fight in UFC against Overeem, uh, where he was like pretty good when they were on distance. As soon as Overeem closed that distance, start throwing the knees, start pushing him to the cage, and then when he put him down to the ground and finish with ground and pound very nicely. Uh, I think that's one of the last amazing performance from over him in UFC. Um, we saw him struggling with that. Now, like imagine like you have a guy who is like cutting down to 165. I believe that he is cutting for sure.
Oh, for
You
sure.
know?
Yeah.
And we saw against Derrick Lewis coming back to their same opponent that they had. Uh, he was doing okay also like pushing Derek against the cage that's where even the finish came like
Hmm.
with the elbow even though he had some problems at the beginning. Derek Lewis even like was a wrestler in that match and took him a couple of times down, but I think that's something that Tai Tuivasa can use to push him against the cage, get him tired, get like uh, blood in his hands, so he doesn't have that snatch with his jab and with his boxing. And also, like, Tai is really nicely moving for the big guy, you know,
Yeah.
especially how he's cutting angle to the right side. If he start combining that and throwing the kicks, and I think that's the key for Tai's victory, like low kicks, and try to push it against the cage, try to get him tired, and then work maybe even on the takedowns, even if it's not on takedowns, then like going back to the distance and working on those kicks, So I think like even though like let's say if you don't count his first fight and his biggest challenge against Overeem, I think the Tai Tuivasa is even, let's not count Derek Lewis because I think Derek Lewis is going down. Like Tai
Mhm.
Tuivasa is coming against a loss against Gan where he had like a solid performance, almost win that fight. And
True.
he saw he can be on the top, and I think he's gonna come even more hungry. And I think I see him winning, especially like now when I see the odds plus 185. I'm gonna go with Tai for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I think mentally he's going to be coming in there hungry, probably hungrier than ever because he just lost to, at the time, I guess, the interim champ, right? Or that was for the interim championship.
Yep.
And I think generally he's just fought and won against better people than Pavlovich. But Pavlovich only has that one loss, and it was his first fight in the UFC to Overeem. So it's a big loss, but he's been 4-0 since then. So I think he's riding a bit more of a momentum. And a crazy stat for him is 100% of his wins are by or no 100% of his finishes of his KOs are in the first round,
Mhm.
right? So if he KOs you, it's going to be early. If you get outside of that, he could still win, but maybe you have a better shot. And again, it's Tai Tuivasa, who's been in more of these big, like headline fights. Maybe he's more willing to stretch out the fight and make it go long, and he's got the experience to do that. But the reason I'm going with Pavlovich, like more than like skill and momentum, which I think he has that, and especially at heavyweight, anyone can knock each other out. It's that Tai Tuivasa got knocked out 3 months ago. You know, that's a very fast turnaround to be coming out of a knockout loss. It's not uncommon for boxers, if they suffer a knockout loss, to take 12 months off. That's pretty common. So that's not how we do it here in MMA, but still 3 months that's fast. And maybe if he was more apt to go for a takedown and wrestle him, maybe he's got more of a chance. But I don't think he's going to try to wrestle him that much, Pavlovich. So I'm going with Pavlovich, even though I think maybe if they had more extended time to prepare for this, I like Tai Tuivasa's chances, just not against a big power puncher, not this weekend.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and that's something that I miss. That like that fight was so recently, even though I said now and that we did it so we started like a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I completely it was completely under my radar. Yeah, but like I agree with you 100%. Just don't forget this. He's Samoan.
That's true. Yeah.
So they're like I think different kind, especially like if we look like even back at Hunt was Samoan too. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just different. They differently built. I think, especially like for fighting. I think like that doesn't matter. Like so we will see. Like again, heavyweight, one punch can decide everything. So
Right.
I think like if Tai Tuivasa use his brain, use his skill, as his experience against better fighter, and especially now preparing for the world championship, he can get back to the track. So I'm gonna stay with Tai, even though I'm gonna admit that I completely like forget about that he got KO'd 3 months ago. And
Mhm.
talking about that, like we see many fighters coming back. I don't know. Recently, I was looking also someone coming back. Yeah, we're gonna have I think in the next one, uh, Kyle Dacus or Dracus. He also got like pretty bad KO with that knee. Like I don't
Yeah.
know how recently that was, and he's fighting again.
Yeah.
It's bad that they're not taking longer breaks, especially if they get KO'd. But I guess they have to to make some money. Like, and that's a sad side of the sport. They're
Mhm.
paid enough that they can take some longer time and heal properly. They're forced, not forced, but like pushed
Yeah.
back to the cage because of the money factor.
I mean, yeah, that's a great point. I mentioned that boxers will take 12 months off if they get knocked out, but again, they're also making more money to kind of live off of if they have to take that year off. Similarly, Sean O'Malley, I was listening to an interview of his, and they're asking if he wants to fight in March. He didn't even get knocked out, and he's saying, March is kind of soon because he did get tagged by Peter Yan, and he thinks like his number one thing he says is his brain health, and so he's not going to fight as soon as March. That's too soon for him. So I thought that was a pretty mature response. And hey, if you're making enough money to wait out that time and not fight, I'd say definitely go for that for sure.
Yeah, yeah, but he's that 1% of the fighters that he's making like great money, even though he's not a champion. He
Right.
has so many things outside of the cage that he can like choose when he wants to fight. I think he's
True.
all like in pretty good money that he doesn't even have to fight anymore. He fights because he loves it. And
Yeah.
and not many guys are in that situation like Sean O'Malley. But like again, it is how it is. That's the like even my job is not easy, but who's
Yeah.
gonna listen to me or who's gonna talk about me doing some shit? So it is how it is.
Yeah. For some reason, though, I feel like Tai Tuivasa, he's not coming back just for the money. I feel like you said he's a fucking Samoan. I'm pretty sure he just wants to fight and he just wants to get in there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely because I think also like it's a good way. He just had a camp for five rounds.
Yeah.
Now the opportunity came. Like maybe it was a perfect timing with him. He wants to finish one more fight. go for the break, have a good New Year, party a little bit more, take a longer break after that. Who knows what is his head? I didn't
Mhm.
listen to an interview, but like I think like he knows what he's doing. Like maybe like it was a KO, but like who knows? Maybe he can take a baseball bat to the head and then fight next week. I think
Yeah.
build like that that doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I'm still going Pavlovich. You still going Tuivasa?
Yep, I'm not changing my mind.
You think it goes outside of round one?
Um, I think so. I think so. Because like, um, I don't know. Like we didn't see Pavlovich hurt any time, and only when he's taken to the ground. I don't think Tuivasa will rush to take him to the ground. I think it's gonna be some exchanges, maybe some fight around against the cage.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to go to second round, but I think
Yeah.
like, and I'm gonna cheer for it to go. But like maybe I didn't see what it is. If it's like under a round and a half, I would maybe go with that. Like because I
Yeah.
don't see it's gonna go through the half of the second round. To be
Yeah, I
honest.
would think the odds are probably pretty good if you're putting money on it going outside of the first round, just because of how heavyweight fights are.
Yeah, let's check it out right away. Like why
Yeah.
not? Next time I'm gonna start preparing that thing too. Like because usually they don't give it until the Friday, but now I had it, so every time when I have it, I'm gonna try to put that also in. Okay, so under 1.5, it's -215.
Okay.
So like they don't give like too much chances, or that's gonna go over. So, but the over is not that high. It's 175. So that's
Hmm.
not bad.